Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be covering my most efficient and newest way to scrape Google Maps, and it's through N8N this time, not Google Maps. Not with Make. So this time I'm running it through quite an efficient way because I'm running it every hour and I'm getting new search terms to Google Sheet, which I'll show you guys how I do in this video. And then yeah, it's running every hour, it's getting a certain amount of leads, and then they're going straight into my CRM. And I'm getting personalization lines, and I'm also getting business names, emails, location, all these important variables all through the same scrape. So it's ready to go straight to Instantly or any other email campaign service you guys have. So yeah, I'll jump in now and show you exactly how to do it.
Okay, so this is the complete N8N flow. So as I said before, I will have a link to this where you can get it in the description, but I'll run over exactly how it works. So for this, we're using the Google Place API. So yeah, this is something you have to get from the console, the Google console. It's called the Place API. So I'm not going to be talking about how to get that. I've talked about it in a previous video. One of my other Google Map scrapers, I think it was the first one I made, on Make, I talked about how to get this Place API, but yeah, it's quite simple. You just download it in the console, and then I think you get charged if you go over a certain limit. I haven't been charged yet, and I've been using it quite a lot. So yeah, I think it's quite a high threshold. I think you can get probably over 1,000 leads a month or something like that. So yeah, I think even more than that, to be honest. But how it works is I've made it kind of automated because how I was running it before, it was quite manual. I'd have to put the lead in like a lead profile on N8N, but how I've got it before, I'll show you now. How I've got it now is I have search terms here. So I have a long list of search terms. So I've got the plus, as you guys probably know, you need that for Google Maps scraping. You can't have spaces between each term. I then have the postcode that I'm targeting. So for this is all Sydney, but you know, once all these are done, I'll move to Melbourne or whatever. And then yeah, so I have a kind of rotation of search terms. So I have Google ads, meta ads, anything that's kind of related to marketing, but you guys can have whatever you're targeting. But yeah, so I was lagging a little bit here, but yeah, you need a queue. So this is going to be important. You'll see why in a second, but you got to have a queue number, and you got to have the location. So this can go straight into your campaigns, so you can use that as a variable. And then this is just for the actual query. And then this is also important. You need to write pending for all of them. So I've got these are all pending. So you just want to make that pending for everything, and then you'll see after in the flow that we mark it as scraped when it's finished, and then that means that it will just move to the next search term. So I run this every hour. So every hour a new search term is grabbed, the leads are scraped, finds probably 15 to 20 leads based on that search term, and then an hour later it'll find another 15 to 20. So by the end of the day, I've usually scraped about 200 plus leads at least, which I send straight to Instantly, and then I do email campaigns to them. So it's just an automated process of scraping. So it's quite good. And as I said before, as I said in my last video, I've got a automation that comes through once a day and deletes all the duplicate leads. So that ensures that I'm not sending like the same leads to Instantly every time, and it clears my CRM, so it's only unique leads in there. That's also very important for this. So yeah, anyways, so this is what you want to set up. You want to set up something like this. And then you want to have obviously a leads tab as well. So this is where I keep all my leads. And then I'll show you how to set this up later as well, but place ID, that's not really important. I'm not sure I have that. The email, title, website, location, personalization, and then has it been sent Instantly. So I'm using Instantly. You guys might be just running emails, either by yourself or through, just like some N8N automation or Make automation. I'm using Instantly for this campaign, so that might not relate to you guys, but if it does, then yeah. And then yeah, you just want to set up something like this along the lines of this. All of this is obviously not set in stone. You guys can have a different setup, but this is how I'm running it. So now that I have gone over that, I'll show you what happens. So as I said before, you're gonna start with schedule. So once an hour, this will run. First thing that happens is it gets the search term. So it gets status and the first matching row that's pending. So that the first row in that sheet that I showed you, the first row that's pending. So for this case, it would be PPC agency in 2023, Sydney. So I'm not even sure what postcode that is, but that would be the first thing it would return. And then now we have that as a search term. Now we want to put that into an edit field. So we kind of just create a nice long string. So it'd be search term plus in plus Sydney plus postcode. So yeah, like let's say if I run that now, you would get, PBC agency in Sydney 2023. So, okay, next we have the actual scrape. So this is through a HTTP request, it's a GET, and then you want to do this URL if you're using the Place API, which I'm assuming you are. And then you want to do none authentication, send query parameters, query, and then obviously the edit fields, and then your key is your API key. So I'm not going to show what mine is, but you guys should be able to find that if you get the console, if you get the API from your console. So that's everything you need for this. Then obviously that's going to run and it's going to find leads based on that. So because my search is quite specific, it's got like a full postcode, I'm usually getting about 10 to 15 results per search. But if you were doing something more basic, like, just digital marketing in Melbourne or whatever, you'd probably get a lot more results. So you could do pagination, I think. And that's where you get your next page token, and then you run a multiple amount of GET requests. So you're running, that means you can get up to 60 leads per GET request. I mean, per like flow. So that might be better if you're doing, more general searches, but because I'm running it every hour with specific searches, I find that this is just easier because I'm getting, 30 or so every 2 hours. And then once a day is done, I've already got 200 or so leads, and that's all I really need because I do other sort of scraping, not just Google Maps. So 200 leads through Maps is enough for me. But depending how you're running this, you might want to do more general ones with pagination, whatever. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to talk about how I do that. I think I did that in my last video. So one of my other Google Maps scraping on make.com, I talked about the pagination. So you can watch that if you want, but I'm not going to be doing that this video. Yeah, so once you've done your scrape, then you want to come to your code node, and this is just going to return each of the items you scraped as separate items. So what happens if you don't have this is you will get just a long array of all your leads, and you can't actually get each of the leads through this loop that we've got later on. So you want to run this Java code, and this is just going to separate each of the leads so you can access all of them. That's really important. I think you could probably just use a split out or like a iteration, but I've got a code node just to make it easier. And then now you want to wait 5 seconds. This is just before you start scraping their site. You don't want to be doing this back to back. You want to be having little waits along your flow. Now you want to have a loop over items. This is so you can scrape each of the leads website, not just one of the leads. So you need to loop this, and then the loop chain starts from here. So this is where we've got majority of the flow, or majority of the magic, I guess. This is a scrape to get their website, phone number, and name. So because the first place scrape we did, it doesn't actually get websites. It just gets, I think, the address, the business name, and some other stuff like opening times and things like that we don't really need. This is the second one that we need, and this gets the website, the phone number, and the name. So phone number is obviously really important, but I don't really need the phone number for the stuff I do. Some clients I do need the phone number for, but for these I'm just doing cold email, so I don't really use the phone number. But yeah, I got the website anyways. That's really important because we're gonna need to scrape the website to get a lot of data. So basically you want your place ID. So that this is what you're going to get from, you're going to get that output from your code when it separates. So you'll be able to find that for each of your leads. I might be able to run this and show you what it looks like. Actually, no, I'll leave it. Anyways, you guys could probably find out what your place ID is. It's just going to be one of these variables here. And then obviously the fields, and then your API key, which I'm not going to show you what mine is, but that's everything you need in the queries. Then you want to wait another, I've just got 1 second wait, and then you're going to, this is the actual website scrape. So this is where you're scraping the whole website. You just want to put their website variable, which you'll find obviously in the inputs. You just want to put that in there, then get, and then none of this really matters because chances are they're not going to have much security on their website. So you're not really going to need batching, or you're not really going to get done for scraping because, most of these websites don't actually have any security on them. Then this code here will clean the text. So this is very important because what this is going to get you is just a long HTML output. You're not even going to be able to finish scrolling. It's just going to be all the HTML inside the website. This will clean all that HTML and actually make it readable, and it'll make it like a little blurb of all the text in the website. So this is super important. You guys can pause and copy all this. Probably take you a while, but yeah, as I said, I will have the file. I will have the JSON file of this N8N flow in the description, so you guys can just get it there anyways. But yeah, this is what you need to clean all the text. Now this one is what gets the email. So we actually don't get the email from the place API, unfortunately, but what we can do here is run this regex code. So obviously some regex code, I've seen people who do this with other regex codes to get emails. There's a bunch of different codes you can use, but this one works fine for me. I get majority of the leads emails with this. But what you really want to make sure you do here is you want to make sure you actually use the correct variable for the JSON data, because what we're doing, we're not actually scraping the clean text, we're scraping the original HTTP request. So we're skipping a whole node. If you just set this up without actually explicitly saying you're taking this variable, then it's just going to take the clean text variable, and obviously you can't use a regex code on the clean text because it's just string. So you need to make sure you actually specifically say what variable it is. So that one was HTTP request first JSON.data. Yours will probably be something similar to that, or it might be the same. So make sure you actually explicitly say you're using the raw data and not the clean text, because otherwise it's not going to work. I had that problem when I was making this originally. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, this is the email extractor. And then now we've obviously got a loop. So this whole entire thing will run for every lead we get. So 15 to 20 leads. We'll get 15 to 20 emails, or around about. You might not get every single email. Some websites don't have emails on them, but you're going to be at least getting, probably, I don't know. Depends how many leads and stuff you're getting from each search. But yeah. Now once that's done, we go up this row. So now we just do another wait. It's just 5 seconds, and then now we start kind of filtering out all the leads, and we also start some AI, which I'll show you in a second. So now we want to filter out all the emails that are not actually emails. So a lot of time we're just going to get, as I said before, we're going to get emails that aren't actually emails. So they're just going to be, like an empty array. Now we want to filter out all those. So you just want to do JSON email actually exists, and that's going to make sure that if it doesn't exist, it's not going to keep going through this. And then you want to remove duplicates. So you want to remove all the duplicate emails in the current input. Yeah, so all the emails because sometimes you're going to get double ups. I'm not sure why that happens, but you get multiple emails from the same lead. So that's just going to remove all the duplicates. And now we come to the actual AI bit. So this is where we now get the personalization line. So I've got a long sort of prompt here. What we're getting two things here. We're getting the personalization line, and we're also getting the business name. We already do have the business name, but I found a lot of the time the business name comes really long, or it's got like PTY, LTD, all these little acronyms at the end of it. So this will get a really concise business name that we can send straight to Instantly and actually use. And it sounds a lot better than adding all these like PTY, because a lot of the Google business names are a lot longer than the simplified ones that you can get from their website if you scrape it. Now, there's endless opportunities really with this AI prompt. You can basically scrape with that clean text, because we have all the text in the website. We can basically extract anything we want. So what I've done previously for other clients is I've tried to scrape decision makers through the clean text. So I'll put in my system prompt. This is a quite long prompt, so I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to show. I can click this actually. Here we go. You can see kind of exactly what I've written here. So what I've done for previous clients is I've added a little bit in the system prompt where I try and get the decision maker. So when I have the decision makers, I can then send it to, Clay or another program, and then get decision maker emails. So obviously that's going to increase the chance you actually get a reply. But for this, for Google Maps, I don't mind just sending emails to just the basic brand emails, because a lot of the time you actually do get replies with those, and you also sometimes this scrapes just decision maker emails for you, because we're getting any email on the website. Sometimes the website has just one of the actual employees or the manager or the owner's email on it, so it actually has a pretty good success rate. But yeah, anyways, that's the system. And then the user prompt is literally just website content to analyze clean text. So it's just the clean text variable that we have down here somewhere. You guys should have it. And then everything else is the same, but we have require specific output. And we also have define below prompt user message, and that's just blank. And then the output is, I'm not sure where I can find it. Oh, here we go. We want to output it as string. We want to output it as JSON. So we have business name, the extracted business name, and then personalized, open out the single, concise, and impressive sentence you have crafted. So we want to have that as JSON, so we can use both the variables when we actually put it into our CRM or sheet. Now, this is the final remove duplication. So we remove all the duplicate leads and duplicate personalization lines again. And then now we have all the data we need. So we append it to row. So this is where we just add the leads in. We add the email. We add the newest variable. So a lot of you don't want to get the variable from down here. You want to get the one that's just been removed from duplicates. You want to get the newest of each of these variables, if that makes sense. And then, business name that we got from the AI scrape, and then the website, which you got all the way down here from Place API. So that's one of the oldest variables you have in here. Location is just whatever, Sydney. You would have got that from, you can get that even from the sheet that first scrape we did. The first search term result. And then the personalization, obviously that's from the AI. And then you want to have sent instantly as no. So you just want to have that because it hasn't been sent yet. You just want to make it no. And then, yeah, once we add the lead, we then append this is to the search term sheet. So we have which search term, so we want to match it with the right queue. So columns to match, and that's the queue. So as I said before, that's really important. We want to get this queue number, and then we want to match it here, and then we want to write scraped. So that just shows that search term has been scraped now, and we can't use it anymore. We have to move to the next one when we run this the next hour or whatever. So that is the entire flow. So hopefully that was clear enough for you guys to kind of follow along. If you guys wanted to just copy word for word what I did, you can definitely do that. You might need to change. You might not be writing the same prompt that I am word for word, but yeah, a lot of these codes, they also can be different as well. What I've written isn't the be all end all, the best code you can do, but yeah, that's what I've just found works for me. So yeah, and then that's basically it. So I showed you the the sheet setup and the actual N8N setup. So I think that's basically everything. So this is the most complete kind of system I've found for Google Maps scraping, because I can run it every hour and I have unlimited search terms. I've got literally thousands that go down the page. Every hour it's getting a new search term, adding it. The only problem with this is I'm running it locally with Docker. So if you're running this through the N8N cloud, your credits are probably going to be through the roof, because we're doing a lot of website scraping and we're doing a lot of AI work here. So yeah, running it locally might be a better option for you. Otherwise you're going to be spending, hundreds a month on credits. But yeah, that's the only real downside to this. But yeah, if you can run it locally, I recommend.
So I hope you enjoyed that video. I will be having the description with the link to, the download file to this automation, so you guys can just get it straight into N8N yourself. Or if you sort of follow along and copy exactly what I do, that's also fine. But yeah, if you have any questions, as I always say, leave it in the comments, because these things always change, and last week something works and the next week it doesn't. So I'm always happy to answer questions and help you guys out. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you find some use for this automation yourself.